students, today we are going to see computer science, the fifth chapter. The chapter name is Python. In Python, the topics we are going to learn about is variables and operators. So what do you mean by Python? Python is nothing but the application program, otherwise it's a programming language which is used for scientific and non-scientific purposes. So in introduction, Python is the general purpose programming language. It is created by Guido van Rossum from CWI, which is the National Research Institute for Mathematics and Computer Science in Netherlands. So Python was created by Guido van Rossum. So the language was released in the year 1991. The language was released in the year 1991. Though it was released in 1991, but in the first few years only, it was very popular to us. So Python was created by Guido van Rossum in the year 1991. The next we are going to see about the key features of Python. In Python, it is a general purpose programming language. General purpose programming language means it is used for both scientific and non-scientific programming. So for scientific, what do you mean by scientific? Scientific means it is a research purpose. So Python programming language is used for both research purpose and non-scientific means it's a commercial purpose. Suppose commercial purpose. The second point is it is a platform independent programming language. What do you mean by platform independent? Platform independent means the Python program will run any operating systems. What is an operating system? Operating system is a system software like Windows, Linux, Unix, iOS, like that. So Python will be able to run in any operating system. Then the third point is the programs written in Python are easily readable and understandable. What do you mean by readable and understandable? Readable means the Python coding are very easy to read, otherwise very easy to understand. Then the fourth key feature is Python supports both procedural and object-oriented programming approaches. Procedural and object-oriented programming. This object-oriented, the name was, we had already learned from the 11th standard in C++ program. So C++ is a object-oriented programming concepts. Like that, Python is also have a procedural and object-oriented programming approaches. So next we are going to see how to install Python in your system. In your system, how to install Python program. So for that, you have to first go to Google Chrome and select and type Python 3.x version download. So the screen will be appear like this, what you have seen now. So the first option, download Python. So you have to select that Python, download Python option. The next screen will be appear like this. The next screen will be appear like this. Here you have to select your operating system, whether it is Windows, Linux, Unix, something like that. So what is the operating system you are having? You have to choose your operating system. Suppose in case you are having Windows OS means you have to click the Windows link. Then the next screen will be appear like this, Python releases for Windows. So from here you have to select the version, whether it is based on your system's configuration, whether it is 64-bit embedded file, otherwise 32-bit embedded file. So after click this link, you can download the Python IDLE version. So after downloading, the icon will be appeared in your desktop, but this icon is only the exe file. What do you mean by exe file? Exe file means it's a executable file. So you have to double click this icon and install the Python language. So for double click, if you double click this icon, your screen will appear like this. The setup progress will be appear. So from here the initialization process will be started. So after initializing the Python language, you have after initializing the Python program, you have installed the Python language in your system. Then the next one, how do we programming in Python program? So programming in Python program, we have two mode. In two modes we can write the Python program. first one is a interactive mode and another one is a script mode. First one is a interactive mode, another one is a script mode. So in interactive mode, what do you mean by interactive mode? Interactive mode means it allows us to write codes in Python in command prompt. Command prompt, MS-DOS command prompt already we have known. Like that in Python also we have a command prompt along with the triple greater than symbol. So the starting symbol is triple greater than symbol. After that we have to type our program. So in Python code can be directly typed and interpreter displays the results immediately. So in interactive mode we can directly type the program in the command prompt. Immediately after one by one the interpreter will debug the program and display the results immediately. So it need not wait for typing the full program. So one by one, after you type one line, the interpreter will debug the program and display the results. Suppose in case you have any error, means it will display the error. So you have to rectify that error in that particular line. After that only you can type second line. Then the third point, in the interactive mode can also be used as a simple calculator. So like our calculator, our manual calculators, you can use the Python command prompt. That is in interactive mode you can use as a simple calculator. Then the next mode is script mode. In script mode, the programs can be written and stored as a separate file with the extension of .py and executed. Like C++ program, what we are doing in C++ program, we have to open a new file, then type the whole program, then we have to save the file along with the .cpp extension. Like that in Python program also, we have to open a new file, that is separate file, and type our full program, then we have to save the file along with the extension .py. After that only we can run the Python program and execute it. Then the script mode is used to create and edit Python source file. So programming in Python means we can write in two modes. One is interactive mode, the another one is script mode. Interactive mode, we can directly type our Python program in the command prompt. After that, each line one by one it will be executed. But in script mode, we have to open a separate file and type the whole program. Then after that, we have to save the file along with the .py option. Then only we can execute the program. So this screen will shows the interactive mode. So the interactive mode, you have a command prompt. Then command prompt, you have 3 triple greater than symbol, this greater than symbol. After this greater than symbol, you have to type the program coding. So your program coding will be executed one by one. After one line is executed, then the second line will be executed. Then the next mode is script mode. How will you open the script mode? In command prompt, you have to go to file menu and select the new option. So the screen will be appear like this. The screen will be appear like this. So here you have to type your program coding. So in script mode, what we are going to do? We have to type the whole program. After that one, type the whole program. After that, you have to save the program along with the .py option. How do you save the program? So you have to go to file menu, select save as option, then give your file name along with the .py extension. Then you have to run the program. In interactive mode, the interpreter will automatically execute the program coding one by one. But in script mode, we have to save the file. After that, we have to go to run menu and select the run module. Otherwise, the function key is F5. So you have to select the run module or F5 to execute the file in script mode. So select run module and run the program. Then your output will be like this. Welcome to Python programming, sum equal to 30. So welcome to Python programming and sum equal to 30. So we have two modes. One is interactive mode, the another one is script mode. Interactive mode, directly we have to type the program coding in the command prompt and the interpreter will automatically execute the lines line by one. In the script mode, we have to open a separate file and type the whole program and save the program along with the .py extension and execute the file. The next one, in real world applications of Python. Then what are the applications we are using in our real world using the Python programming? So the first one is a web development, then second one is a game development, then scientific and numeric applications, then artificial intelligence and machine learning, then desktop GUI. What do you mean by GUI? It's a graphical user interface. Then software developments, enterprise level and business applications, education programs and training courses, language developments, operating systems and web scraping applications. These are our real world applications which are using Python programming language for the development process. The next one is commands in Python. What do you mean by commands? Commands begins with a hash symbol, but the commands lines will not executed by the Python interpreter. Already we had learnt in 11th standard in C++. The C++ we are using command line symbol is asterisk symbol and backslash symbol. So along with the asterisk symbol and backslash symbol, in between these symbols what are the lines can be appeared, it will not be executed. So the commands line is only for messaging purpose. It will give the message what about the program. The program is what the programmer going to do with the program. So it will not be executed through the interpreter. So like that in Python, the Python commands begins with a hash symbol. Hash symbol means you know. Then the second one, the lines that begins with hash are considered as commands and ignored by the Python interpreter. What do you mean by ignored by the Python interpreter? Ignored by Python interpreter means the line will not be executed. Then the third one, the commands may be single lines or multi-lines. So suppose if you are using multi-line commands means you have to enclose that line with the triple double quotes. It's a set of triple double quotes. So the next one we are going to see about the input functions and the output function. What do you mean by input and output? So input means the raw data which we are given to the computer to get some desired result. The output means obviously the desired result will be the output. So to give the input and get the output, we have to give the input and output functions. So the first one, a program needs to interact with the user to accomplish the desired task. This can be achieved using input and output functions. So input means nothing but the raw data which are given to the computer. Output is nothing but the processed data which displayed by the computer. So the input functions helps to enter data at runtime by the user. What do you mean by runtime? Runtime means while you are executing your program, you can give any value to the user. That is called a runtime program. Then the output function print is used to display the result of the program on the screen after execution. So if you are using the print function, the output will be displayed on the screen. Now we are going to see one by one this input and output functions. So first is output function, the print function. So in Python, the print function is used to display the results on the screen. The syntax for print is as follows. Example, we have 4 types of syntax. First one is print. Within the parenthesis and along with the double quotes, you have to write your string what you are going to display. So the first syntax is print. Along with parenthesis, you have the string to be displayed as output. Then the second syntax is print. Along with the parenthesis, you have to type your variable. Then the third one, print string to be displayed as output, comma variable. So you can display both the strings and the variable. Then the fourth syntax is more than one string and more than one variable. You will be able to display using the print function. The next one is the input function. So input function, what is the purpose of input function? It is used to give the raw data in the runtime, at the runtime. So in Python, input function is used to accept the data at runtime. The input accepts all data as strings or characters but not as numbers. So the input function, it accepts only strings or characters but it will not accept the numbers. Suppose if you want to give the numbers as an input, you have to convert this explicitly. Explicitly means from outside we have to give some commands and convert the numeric values. So if a numerical is entered, the input value should be explicitly converted into numeric data type. So for that purpose we are using int function used to convert the string data as integer data explicitly. Suppose if you give any numbers, means without this int function you can give any numbers, means it will consider as a string or characters. So if you want to convert this string as and characters as a integer values, you have to use the int function along the input function. So suppose if you want to give any numeric data, that numeric data will be converted, explicitly converted. So for that purpose you have to use a int function along with the input function. So the syntax for input function is variable equal to input along with the parenthesis. You have to give your prompt string, that is your raw data, otherwise your input data. Then for example, if you are giving or display welcome to Python in your Python programming language, you have to use the print function. So print along with the parenthesis and the double quotes, you have to type welcome to Python, then your output will be displayed in the command prompt. Then now we are going to move on to part 3, that is tokens. So already we had seen in 11th standard C++ tokens. What do you mean by tokens? Tokens means it's a lexical units, otherwise individual units which are going to form a programming, one whole programming language. So under tokens we are going to see identifiers, operators, delimiters, keywords and literals. So tokens is nothing but the lexical units. So they are identifiers, operators, delimiters, keywords and literals. So tokens, what do you mean by tokens? Token means it's a lexical units, that is Python breaks each logical line into a sequence of elementary lexical components known as tokens. So the whole program can be break into a logical lines. That logical lines are called either identifiers, keywords, operators, delimiters and literals. In already we had seen in 11th standard C++ program also we had seen tokens, then the types of tokens. So the white space separation is necessary between token identifiers or keywords. The next one, what do you mean by identifiers? Identifiers means nothing but it's a variables, that is the name given to the data what we are going to give. So an identifier is a name used to identify a variable, function, class, module or objects. So what are the rules to write the variable name? First one, an identifier must start with an alphabet, whether it is a capital A to Z or small a to Z, that is lowercase or uppercase, or start with the underscore. Only the special character allowed to write a variable name is it's a underscore. Then the identifiers may contain the digits from 0 to 9. Python identifiers are case sensitive. What do you mean by case sensitive? Case sensitive, first case means it's a uppercase and the lowercase. So in Python the uppercase letters will give one meaning, then the lowercase letters will give one meaning. So uppercase and lowercase letters are distinct. They are giving different meaning to the Python interpreter. Then identifiers must not be a Python keyword. Already we had known about the keyword. Keyword means it's a reserved word particularly for Python programming to develop that program. So that keywords will not be used as a identifiers. Then Python does not allow punctuation characters such as modulus operator, dollar operator, operator, etc. within identifiers. So the example of valid identifiers you have seen some. The letters start with the S, the words start with the S, then the total marks start with T, then register number and num. So in the example of invalid identifiers, the first example is 12 name. The identifiers will not start with the numeric values. The second example, why it is considered as an invalid identifier, it is using the special character dollar symbol. Then like that in the third example also, total mark, the hyphen is using as a special character. Then the fourth one, why it is considered as an invalid identifiers, if anyone is know, because continue is a keyword, Python keyword, that's why it is called a invalid identifiers. So next one, keywords. So what do you mean by keywords? I already told. Keywords are the reserved words which are specially created for the Python interpreter to recognize the structure of the program. So keywords such as special words or reserved words used by a Python interpreter to recognize the structure of program. As these words have specific meaning for interpreter, they cannot be used for any other purpose like variable name, function name. So these are the examples to the reserved words or keywords. Then the third type is delimiter. Delimiter means nothing but these special characters which are available in your keyboard. So these special characters are called delimiter. So Python uses the symbols and symbol combination as delimiters in the expressions, list, dictionaries and strings. Following are some of the example of delimiters. Then escape sequence. What do you mean by escape sequence? Along with the backslash symbol, any characters will come means it is called a escape character. In Python, strings in the backslash is a special character. Also, it is called a escape character. So this is a one-word question. What is the escape character or backslash character? Backslash is a escape character. So along with this backslash, any letters come means it is a escape sequence. It is used to represent certain white space characters. Backslash t, already we have seen in C++. Backslash t means it's a tab character, backslash n means it's a new line, and backslash r means it's a carriage return. For example, to print the message it's raining in the Python command, what will be the Python command? Because here we have to include the apostrophe, it's raining, it, after that it we have to include the apostrophe. So for that the command is print. After that triple greater than symbol you have to type print, then within the parenthesis and along with the double quotes you have to write it. After it you have to give backslash and apostrophe as raining, then the output will be it's raining. So the apostrophe will be included as a escape sequence. Then we are going to see about it. The fourth type is operators and its types. What do you mean by operator? Operator means in mathematical you can use the operators, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, something like exponent, it's called the operator. So operator is nothing but the special symbol represents computation and conditional matches. So operator is nothing but the special symbols which are represents computation and conditional matches. Conditional, what do you mean by conditional matches? Means it will compare two values, whether it is greater than or lesser than, like that. So it's a conditional matches. So what are the types of operators? Here we have four types of operators. First one is arithmetic operator, second one is relational operator, third one is logical operator, fourth one is assignment operator. So what the first one? Now we are going to see one by one. What is arithmetic operators? Arithmetic operator means it is used to perform some arithmetic calculations. It is a mathematical operator which will take two operands. Operands means the values before the operator, after the operator, which we are going to give is called the operands. Because so in case in example a plus b means plus is a operator, a and b is a operand. So in mathematical operator takes two operands and perform a arithmetic calculations. Then example for arithmetic operators are addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, exponent and floor division. So addition means it will add two numbers. In case a equal to 100 and b equal to 10 means a plus b is 110. Then subtraction means it will subtract the two numbers. So 100 minus 10, the value will be 90. Then multiplication, multiply the two numbers a into b, that is 100 into 10, the result will be 1000. So division means what will be the answer? So 100 divided by 10, 100 divided by 10, it is a 10.0. It will give the exact value. But in C++, the division means it will give only the quotient value, the integer part. But in Python, it will give the whole along with the fractional part. It will give 10.0. Okay. Then modulus. What do you mean by modulus operator? In C++ also we had already learned modulus operator will give only the remainder values. In case A is 100, then divided by 30, the quotient will be 3, then the remainder will be 10. So A modulus 30 means the result will be 10, that is the remainder value of division operation. Then exponent. Exponent means nothing but the power value. So A exponent of 2 means 100 to the power 2, that is 10,000. The result will be 10,000. Then the new arithmetic operator is floor division. The floor division means in the division operation it will give only the quotient value, that is suppose A equal to 100 and the divided by 30 means the quotient value will be 3. So these are the arithmetic operators. What are they? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, exponent and floor division. The next one is the relational operators. What do you mean by relational operators? Relational operators means we will compare the two operands, the relationship between the two operands. So it is a comparative operator. Whether it is called a relational operator or comparative operator, it will check the relationship between the two operands. So obviously what will be the output? If the relation is, the condition is okay means it will give the true, otherwise condition is false means it will give the false result. So the examples are equal to, that is in Python the equal to means it is a double equal, because single equal is called the assignment operator, which is used to assign the value to the variable. So in Python and C++ also the equal to operator means we have to write a double equal symbol, then greater than symbol, lesser than, greater than or equal to, both combinations, then lesser than or equal to, then the last one is a not equal to operator. So in your example A equal to 100 and B equal to 35 means the first one is obviously false, because 100 is not equal to 35. Then second one greater than, A is greater than B, yes obviously 100 is greater than 35, so the result will be true. Then third one lesser than, A is lesser than B, the result will be false. Then A is greater than or equal to, either greater than or equal to. So if any one condition is satisfied, then the output will be true. Then lesser than or equal to, the output will be false. Then last one, A is not equal to B, yes obviously it is true. Then the next operator will be the logical operator. Already we had learnt in 11th standard C++ program the logic gates, otherwise logical operators. We have 3 logical operators which is used to perform a logical operations. They are and, or and not operators. So the AND value A equal to or value A is greater than B or A equal to B. So the or value, what or operator, what it is doing is, if any one condition is true, then the output will be true. But in AND operator, if both the conditions are true, then only the output will be true, otherwise the output will be false. Then not operator, not A is greater than B. So it will check the condition, and according to that condition it will give whether it is false or not true. Then conditional operator. What do you mean by conditional operator? Conditional operator is a ternary operator. In C++ we had already learnt about the types of operators based on the operands. What are they? Unary operator, binary operator and ternary operator. Unary operator means it will have only one operand. Then the example is plus plus a plus plus, increment operators and decrement operators. Then binary operator means it has 2 operands. So examples are arithmetic operators, relational operators, like that. Then ternary operator means it has a 3 operands. Ternary operator means it has a 3 operands. So ternary operator, you have A, B, C and 3 operands. It evaluates based on the some conditions. So ternary operators, it's like a simple if-else statement. If the condition is true, one set of statement will be executed, otherwise if the condition is false, the another set of statement will be executed. So conditional operator is nothing but the ternary operator. Ternary operator means it has 3 operands. evaluated based on the some conditions. It's like a simple if-else statement. So the syntax for conditional operator is variable name equal to on true if test expression, that is on true. On true means if text expression is true means the some set of statements will be executed. On false, else means on false. If the condition is false, some set of expressions will be executed in conditional operator. So in your book the program 5.5, a comma b equal to 30 comma 20, minimum equal to, so the condition, what will be the condition? Minimum equal to a if a is lesser than b, else b. So here what will be the output? Obviously b is the lesser number, so the minimum equal to 20, the output will be minimum equal to 20. The next topic we are going to see is literals. Literals means what? It's a raw data given in a variable or constants. So literal means it's a raw data given in a variable or constants. So literals have three types. One is a numeric type, second one is a string, then third one is a boolean. What do you mean by numeric types? Numeric types means it's a numbers. Numbers, under numeric we have three types of numeric values. Then string means it's a combination of characters, otherwise more than one characters, enclosed with the single quotes or double quotes. Then boolean means obviously it is either true or false. So we can see one by one. First one is a numeric literals. So numeric literals means digits and constants. Constant means what? It's a immutable, not changeable values. Digits means it's a variables. We can change the values. So numeric literals means generally it is a digits and constants. So under this numeric literals we have three types. One is integer, the another one is float, the third one is a complex values. So integer value means it is a whole value without any fractional part. It's a whole value without any fractional part. So we had already seen in C++ the binary values, decimal, octal and hexadecimal. So this integer value can be either binary value, decimal value, octal value or hexadecimal values. The second type is float value. What do you mean by float value? Float value means it is a fractional part values. So values with a fractional part. Then complex value. Complex value means it's a imaginary part and the real time value part. Imaginary part means along with the characters it will come. So complex value means it's a imaginary part and the real time value. So in your book you have the example program 5.6. That 5.6 you have a integer values. The example for integer values, a equal to 0, b 1 0 1 0. It is a binary literal. Then second example, b equal to 100. It is a decimal value. Then third example, c equal to O0310. So the octal value means the numbers between 0 to 7. So binary values means the number will be either 0 or 1. Decimal value means the number between 0 to 9. Then octal value means it's a 0 to 7. Then d equal to OX12C 1 to C. That is hexadecimal value. Hexadecimal value, the range is between 0 to 15. So 0 to 9, as usual you have to write the number. After that 9, if it is 10 value means it will be considered as a alphabet. So here we have 1 to C. So 1 to C means the C value will be 12. Okay. Then after that the float literals. Float 1 equal to 10.5. It is coming along with the fractional part. Then the second example, float 2 equal to 1.2 E2. E means it's nothing but the exponent value. Then complex literal. Complex literal x equal to 1 plus 3.14j. Here the 3.14j is called the imaginary part and 1 is called the real part. Then next type. In literals, the second type is string literals. String means nothing but the sequence of characters, otherwise arrays of characters, otherwise combinations of characters, more than one characters, which are enclosed by the single quotes, double quotes in C++. But in Python, we have one more string literals, because if it is a multi-line means it will be enclosed with the triple quotes. So string literals, sequence of characters enclosed by single double quotes. If it is a multi-line means it will be enclosed with the triple quotes. So in your book, the program 5.7, page number 62, we have a example. So strings are, this is Python enclosed with the double quotes. Then character equal to C, that is also enclosed with the double quotes. Then multi-line string, that is enclosed with the triple quotes. So the output will be, this is Python, see this is multi-line string with more than one line code. Then Boolean literals. Boolean literals means it have only two values, either true or false. So Boolean 1 equal to 2 means the output will be true. Boolean 2 equal to false means the output will be false value. Then finally we are going to see about Python data type. So what do you mean by data type? Data type means it will represent a type of given input data. What type of data we are giving as a raw data, whether it is a numeric value or string values or characters. So in data type we have three types. One is a number data type, Boolean data type and string data type. But number data type, again we are going to see about integer, floating and complex. Then Boolean data type means true or false. Then string data type means enclosed with the single, double, triple quotes. That's all for the 5th chapter, children. So now we are going to see a small recap. So first one, Python is a programming language, general purpose. It is used for general purpose language, developed by Udo van Rossum in the year 1991. Then the next one, we had learned how to install the Python program. Then the third point, how do we programming in Python program? We have two modes. One is interactive mode and another one is a script mode. So in interactive mode, we can directly type the program coding in the command prompt. In script mode, we have to choose a separate file and type the whole program and save along with the .py extension. Then comments in Python. So command line means it will not executed by the Python interpreter. It will just show the message. The comment symbol is hash symbol. Then we are seeing the input and output function. So input function is input along with parenthesis. Output function is print along with the parenthesis. Then we are seeing about the tokens. Token is nothing but the lexical units. Then type of tokens means it is identifiers, keywords, delimiters, operators and literals. So identifiers means nothing but variable names which are given to the data. Then keywords means it's a reserved words only used for Python developing purpose. Then delimiter means it's a special characters which are in the keyboard that are called as delimiters. Then operators. Under operators, operator is a special symbol which is used to do the calculations and conditional matches. So operators, under operators we had seen arithmetic operators, relational operators, then conditional operators. Then arithmetic operator means it is used, arithmetic operator is used for the mathematical calculations. Then relational operator, it is compare the relationship between the two operands. Then logical operator is used for logical operations, and, or, and, not. Then conditional operator means we have only one conditional operator. That operator is called a ternary operator, which is act as simple if else statement. Then final is a literals. So literals, under literal we have numeric literal, string literal and Boolean literal. Then under numeric literals we have integer, float and complex values. Integer means it's a whole numbers without any fractional part. Float value means it comes along with the fractional part. Then complex means it's a real time and imaginary values. Imaginary values means it will come along with the special letters. Then last one, then string literals. String literals means it's a sequence of characters enclosed with a single, double, or if it is a multi-line means triple quotes. Then Boolean values means it is either true or false. Then the last topic is Python data type. Again Python data type can be classified into three types: number, Boolean and string. Number means integer, float and complex. Then boolean means true or false. Then string data type means enclosed with the single, double and triple quotes. That's all for the 5th chapter, children. Now your homework will be in your textbook. Take page number 66. Write part 2 and part 3. That is 2 more questions and 3 more questions in your new classwork notebook. You have to get your new classwork notebook from the office after you pay the fees. Then for computer science, you have 3 notebooks. From that notebook, you have to take 198 pages notebook and write the date, chapter name, chapter number, then write part 2 and part 3 and submit it on next Thursday. Okay, thank you, children.